I can't believe you're running your fucking mouth before we get started. Welcome to Las Películas Sábados Gigantes at the Cinemarijuana Theatre.
Yay!
Shut the fuck up!
Thank you. Thank you.
Good start.
The shitlords of cinematic scrutiny. We meet weekly to talk about movies after watching them, before watching them, rather. And that's what we're here to do today for filmstain.com. And today we are here to talk about the film Wedding Daze from 2006. Yeah?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise known as The Pleasure of Your Company.
And The Next Girl I See.
Okay, all right. So I guess let's get started here with the introductions. I'm Ed.
I'm Kenzie.
I'm John.
I'm Raul.
I'm Chris.
Say that again.
I'm Chris.
Thank you. Okay.
Rest in peace.
All right. So, yes, Wedding Daze from 2006, a rom-com. This is part of our current free-for-all series that we're doing, where people get to pick whatever they want. No theme right now. And this was Raul's selection. So before we get talking about it, is it Underberg time?
I believe it is.
Excellent.
Underberg, feel it in your loins.
Isn't it always Underberg time?
It is. It is. Excellent. This is probably my favorite part of the podcast.
Mine too.
It's really the only good part of the podcast. In fact, after this,
Yeah.
you're just going to shut this right off.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. It's pretty much
It's all downhill from here.
downhill from there. Yes. So,
Underberg, do not take rectally.
Could you imagine if you
I
did
don't know.
butt chug an Underberg? I think you get seriously fucked up.
Underbum.
You get seriously
Underberg.
herbed and bittered
Ow.
up.
That'd be a
Underberg.
serious Blunderberg.
Yeah. It'd be rough, I would imagine. You got to probably have a pretty tough anus to handle it.
Be a
You gotta have some
wild
calluses
ride.
on that
That's
anus.
what I'm saying. I mean, I imagine you got to be the kind of person that eats very spicy shit frequently,
Yeah.
so that your asshole is tempered properly for the heat. that
Well, they
it's about
say
to
I got an iron asshole.
They say that.
Good,
Take it all.
good.
Who keeps saying that to you?
Excellent. They all say it.
They tell me I have a porcelain prison pocket.
The platinum prison pocket.
Yes.
Jesus.
Okay, man. I always love where Underberg takes us.
And we haven't got there yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, bottoms up.
Here's to you.
The original slow pour. Woo!
What kind of whore?
I wonder what the viscosity
Slow
rating on
whore.
that is.
Slope
Oh,
whore?
and always save the caps.
Yes. And as always, chase it with my coffee. Extra delicious.
Yeah.
From 7-Eleven.
Oh, man, that's embarrassing. I'm going to have to edit that out.
I don't know if you'll know I drink gas
Oh, yeah.
station coffee.
Why? That's bomb-ass coffee.
Yeah.
That's what truckers drink.
Shit.
That's what hookers drink.
Oh, my
You're too
goodness.
good for trucker and hooker
Well,
coffee?
dude, I'm not meeting any. What the fuck?
You're not meeting any hookers? You're not meeting any truckers?
There might be truckers. I don't know. I figured it's easier. It would probably be easier to spot a hooker than a trucker,
They
at
call
least in
them,
this town.
The hookers at the truck stops, they call them lot lizards.
That's what I've heard.
They do. Yeah.
That's what I've heard. I don't know how lizard-like they really are.
Well, I could tell you
Yeah,
some
I
stories.
could assume.
Is it just to be alliterative? Is it just because it starts with an L?
I think it's a little bit of
So
both.
then
but
they'd be lot lemurs,
it's really because of the way they kind of,
cling to
cling
rocks.
well, to the truck stops and the trucks and the truckers.
Lot lepers would be good, too.
Lot
Yeah.
of lice.
That's
Lot
kind of
lice.
yeah. Lot loiterers, really.
Oh, my God. Lot lovers.
There we go. Or that once they contract a client, they become lot
Yeah.
lovers.
They could be your lot lovers.
Or if they don't, when they're lot losers.
Why not just truck stop sluts?
Nice.
That's a good
pretty
band name, too.
That's pretty good.
Truck stop whoas.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's actually my favorite HOOERS hooers, as Dice would say. I'd like to take a moment to apologize for Kenzie to Kenzie for shitting all over the beginning of this podcast. I sometimes take these things a little too seriously.
Okay.
Are you apologizing for?
Yeah, you're
or
apologizing to the listeners for her.
No, both. I'm simultaneously apologizing for her and to her for my swift verbal reprisal that I delivered.
And I was amazed that you couldn't just start things over
Yeah.
since you were right at the beginning. Just get a do-over.
That was going to fuck with my momentum. Now. It
once you
was
got
like
on a
it was the
roll,
ball was already rolling. You know what I mean? And I couldn't.
the balls had dropped, and there was no putting them back
No,
up.
that's it. That
Well,
was
the stop and then rewind and record buttons are so far.
We actually record this on an old reel-to-reel tape deck, so it's a lot of work. Rewinding things.
One of those
and
Edison fucking.
switching tapes. This is going out on wax cylinders.
I'm going to be
so,
cutting tape.
Yeah, it's
late into the
It's a lot of work
into the wee hours here.
to get the phonograph backed up.
All right, well, Kenzie, why don't you tell us exactly what the fuck this movie was about?
Okay, this movie is about Jason Biggs, and he's gonna marry this girl that looks like Heather Graham, but then like he proposes to her and she dies, and then he goes into this crazy depression for a while, and then his friend pressures him to start dating, and so he asks the first girl he sees to marry him, and she's crazy, so she says yes, and then it's about that, their relationship from there.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
From 2006, written and directed by Michael Ian Black, formerly of the State, as well as numerous other comedy properties, with and without his former State mates, starring Jason Biggs, as you heard, as Anderson Isla Fisher or Ela Fisher.
And I believe you mean the great Sir Jason Biggs.
Yes, forgive me for not giving him his due. As Katie and Joey Pants, Joe Pantoliano as Smitty.
Mamma mia.
Yeah.
There's also, as well as Michael Weston, Eben Moss, Backrack, Edward Herman, and it was directed too by Michael Ian Black.
Yeah, well, yeah, written and directed, yeah. Oh, yeah, Edward Herman. That was a nice thing too. All right, Kenzie. Well, any cinematic slam pieces in this one?
I guess Jason Biggs is okay. I don't think he's as terrible as everyone else thinks he is either. So his acting doesn't even really bother me that much.
Is he husband material? Is he wifey material? Is he waifu material?
I think in real life he would be husband material. Like
So he's more than just a fudge.
he's just
Fudge in
not
the
like
rough.
a celebrity kind of to me, if that makes sense. Like he's like a regular person.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Or as what the French would call just some dude.
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Just some
It could be because he's already like kind of a D-list celebrity, so he's
Yeah.
not that high up on a pedestal.
I think he was voted most likely. His films were voted most likely to appear on Comedy Central.
Nah.
I think several years in a row.
Most likely go straight to Redbox.
Yeah.
He was also voted celebrity most likely to appear on this podcast.
Yes, and we're fingers
Hey.
crossed. Fingers crossed.
I should reach out to him.
You should definitely
totally
do that.
should.
Just tell him about the Greg Sestero interview and just be like, dude,
These guys
We're
are
big-
movers and shakers.
we're big time.
Yeah.
They're big players in the
We're
game.
big time
Big
now.
wheels.
All right, well, let's do 3 minutes, 3 words then, yeah?
Yeah, let's start with Raul. Since it was your pick, why don't you tell us, A, why you picked it, then B, what you think about it, and C, your 3 words.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
super surprised that you picked it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I picked it for 2 reasons. One of which was that I always pick this kind of dark and cult stuff that's pretty weird and fringy, right?
Pretty out there.
So I kind of wanted to mix it up and pick something a little more lighthearted that's also kind of fringy, something that people haven't really heard of, and I don't know if anyone here's even seen or heard of this movie.
I've definitely heard of it because I spent a lot of time working in a DVD store.
Yeah, so that's probably part of it. The second reason I picked it was this was also influenced by Kenzie, because when I first started coming here, I was trying to figure out what everyone was into, and she said she liked romantic comedies, and everyone was kind of like rolling their eyes like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck.
I want a rom-com theme.
Yeah, so like in my head, I'm like, no, there's a rom-com that I really love that I think everyone would enjoy and everyone should see it, and it was this film. So I kind of got it in here as soon as I could, which is now.
How magnanimous.
So it's a favorite of mine. It's really hard to find a rom-com that gets this edgy, and I can watch it a million times because the jokes hit so well, and all the characters are fucking characters. Like, everyone is silly as shit. I really like the cast. I think they all work great together, and I kind of really appreciated the actors individually after this movie. Like, now I actually kind of like Jason Biggs after this. I thought he played the part really well of being
It's a
this
fun
nervous
ensemble.
goofball. Yeah, it's a fun film. Soundtrack's pretty fun, too, with all that goofy indie shit from around that time. So,
I really like the soundtrack.
yeah. It's a fun movie, and the romantic comedy bullshit is kind of like a on the back burner to a lot of the goofier jokes and the other situations, I think.
Yeah,
too.
it is sort
So
of.
I think it kind of helps.
more
I think it's a
appropriate,
shame
yes.
that it never really got its due. I think it got kind of fucked over.
Lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
All right, your 3 words?
Love is fun.
God. Terrible.
Okay, all right. Chris, your turn. 3 minutes, 3 words on Wedding Days.
Okay, yeah. I don't have anything to say really, but this was. I was
Okay.
surprised.
All right, moving on.
It surprised me. It was a lot better than I thought. It was. I thought when I saw Biggs, I was like, ah, shit. This could be bad. But
Here's where the wheels come off.
yeah, there was only a couple parts I thought that dragged when they really pushed the romantic side of it.
Yeah.
There was a couple parts I was like, okay. But now the jokes, yeah, like you said, the jokes really hit. I think it succeeds at being a romantic comedy. It's romantic, and it definitely is funny. It definitely makes sense. It makes a lot of sense that MEB made it because it was different, but like feels familiar in that, not that it's familiar because you've seen stuff like it. It's familiar in that it's things that you think like might happen to you. I don't know. He does a good job, like Seinfeld, of bringing like things that like are real in your everyday life to the comedy table and making them really funny. It didn't stand out for me in any way. I don't know. I liked it, but I don't think I'd watch it again. But for a romantic comedy, which I normally don't like, this is a pretty good movie. My 3 words would be totally missed this.
Huh, like a lot of people.
All right.
Yeah. All right, how about you?
Okay.
How about you? What do you think about?
Yeah. So, I'm sure I saw the cover for this a billion times on the shelf at Blockbuster and just immediately wrote it off.
And immediately scampered to my Blu-ray player to pop it in.
And in fact, it's funny. I looked online and to see what the cover looked like, to see if I could remember it, and it's pretty much interchangeable with like Love Actually.
It almost,
and
I
stuff
swear,
like that, if I recall correctly.
It's like they took the cover that's been done like in 5 different posts and just photoshopped in 2 different
it's
heads.
like
Just
they have
put
a
Biggs'
mold.
heads
It's like
on
they have
them.
a mold for it. It is a fun ensemble cast. I will give it that. The supporting, it's a little. I think it's a little wackier than romantic comedies tend to be. Not that I watch so many of them, just because they kind of tend to be very rote and sort of very, predictable and sort of more disbelief than I can suspend. You know what I mean? Involved. But this was a little goofier, a little wacky. There was some ribald stuff, the sex stuff between Jason Biggs' parents in the film was pretty funny and gross. Joey Pants and Dirk Diggler's mom was kind of a fun thing, and his the guy who we thought was Cousin Larry, but that isn't, the Jew guy with the Junicorn and the Jula hoop.
Yeah, the stepdad.
That guy was pretty fun. Yeah, I got to say, I don't know that I would revisit this a bunch necessarily, just because it's not the kind of thing that really strokes that right spot. But certainly in this setting, it was a lot of fun to share with it. And this film is the kind of film that reinforces why film should, in many cases, be experienced in a communal fashion. Because it can permit you to sort of, on occasion, put aside kind of your peccadillos and kind of enjoy something that you wouldn't necessarily enjoy as much. That's the only reason I ever had fun with Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. That fucking piece of shit. Saw it in a fucking advanced screening with a fucking audience full of shit kickers that couldn't get enough. So it was.
And that helped to improve the experience.
Yeah. So anyways,
Shit kickers love their mummies. I know that.
Yeah,
to
that's
be
what I'm
true.
saying. So this was fun and quite a surprise. And I like the fact that it was that Raul was comfortable enough to show a different side of himself, a more sensitive side.
I know you guys well enough now to, I don't have to hide.
Let that guard down. Let us in, man. Let us in. So that's
3
my
words?
3 words. Let us in.
Okay, there you go. All right, Kenzie, are you ready to go?
Yep.
Let's hear it.
I like this movie.
What the hell was that?
I think
I don't know.
Oh, so sorry. Go ahead.
Musical flourish.
I think it's better than your average rom-com, but still it kind of is just another rom-com to me. It just was funnier. But I did like it. I thought it was funny. I think it got like a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think it's way better than that. So I don't really know why that happened.
In Batman v Superman territory there.
I'm sure there was a...
Did it get higher than Batman v Superman?
Probably, because
Probably.
that's it.
Wow.
I think that's like a 27 or something.
Yeah.
It really reminded me of Meet the Fockers, kind of, which I really liked because it's the same kind of like humor that I think like, I don't know, with rom-coms, they're all so cheesy and dumb, but these are more like rom-coms for adults. So, my 3 words are cute date movie, because really, like, I think you should watch it like when you're just hanging out with someone you're freshly dating.
All right.
Because
Excellent.
it's funny and like, yeah, then maybe you could like trick him into marrying you.
There
and,
you
like,
go.
See,
Just like
buy
the
me a
movie.
ring.
You heard it, ladies. You're looking for that meal ticket. Wedding days. All right, John. You want to take us home?
Yeah, well, you know, I didn't really like this movie very much. I mean, there were some laughs. We've talked about, like, okay, I think there's been a recent shift in attempting to, like, people realize, like I picture a boardroom of, like, film executives and, like, you know, gee, boss, like, you know, men aren't going to see romantic comedies. What do we do? Put in titty and fart jokes. And, like, so there's this thing where, like, now they just put in this gross out humor, romantic comedies, to kind of cover the fact that it's just a sappy romantic comedy. So I like the humor. I like the mom and the dad getting it on and the cock rings and all that. And that stuff
Who
was
doesn't
funny.
love cock
I love
rings?
cock rings, right? But, I mean, when you get right down to it, it was just as schmaltzy and corny as any romantic comedy, and even more so. Like, the only thing that was, like, lacking was a scene where she goes to get married to the asshole boyfriend and he comes to break up the ceremony. You know? I mean, that's all it
Yeah.
needed
That
was
would've
that
been
scene. I mean,
good.
everyone
Kill Bill style.
they always have, you know,
Yeah, Kill
I
Bill
love how
style.
these movies have the idea that the two people form a relationship where they're going to get married. So they're close enough to get married, but they have no problem immediately, like, cheating on each other, breaking up. Like, the biggest asshole in the world, like, she's going to marry Hitler, and she's fine with that until this guy shows up and breaks it up. They keep breaking up and getting back together, like, oh, it's crazy to get married, but love conquers all. But no, it doesn't. But yes, it does. There was one point in the movie, I swear, they broke them and got back together like 2 or 3 times in the span of 5 minutes. and it's just, and I mean, in
I've had
real life,
relationships like that, though, to be fair.
here's what would happen in real life. She would come over to his place that night, they would fuck, and the next morning it would all be over. I mean, that's it. I mean, and it just, I mean, yeah. And okay, like, if you have to watch romantic comedy, if it's Valentine's Day or you're on a date and you got a gun to your head and you got to watch romantic
See?
comedy and you're a guy.
Good date movie.
Right. This is a good one to pick because it is funny. And if you got to sit through romantic comedy, you could do a lot worse than this one. So I would put it on the tops. I'd say, hey, it's my favorite romantic comedy of all times, but I hate romantic comedies. And so by proxy, I hate this movie.
I feel like I did a really good thing here.
I think
Yeah.
you succeeded well, but I still want to commend Raoul too for being bold enough to show it, you know, and to bring something that, I mean, the Cinemarijuana Theatre is all about experiencing different types of movies and thinking outside the box and, you know, expanding your horizons. So
You're so brave.
yes, I applaud you for that. So well done, Raoul.
Thank you so much.
Wow, standing out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my 3 words, I got 2 sets of 3 words. First are well done, Raoul,
Yeah.
and then second, I said is not that good.
Aw. Womp womp.
So there you have it.
Nice. John, you get the Contrarian of the Day award.
Hey, I do. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Because being the sole
I'm being very
dissenting voice.
contradicting.
You are
to everybody.
contradicting the group consensus here. A bold tribute here today. So thank
Great
you.
honor to receive.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so you got some dank nugs.
Yeah, there's not too much on this movie. I don't know exactly why, but this movie isn't there's not a lot of information on this movie online or anything. There's
So no, the answer is no.
well, I
You
got
don't
a
have
couple.
any.
Okay, I got a couple things. The movie has several different titles because in 2004 there was a John Larroquette movie also called Wedding Days.
Oh, that's why they had the
so
pleasure
that's
of your
why
company
there's
thing.
right. There's different titles.
So
kind
it
of
was
different
originally
markets.
supposed to be Wedding Days. Then they
No, I don't know exactly. I think it might have something to do with like different, like in another country or something.
okay.
All the titles have just been awful anyway.
Yeah, they're all really
They're
bad
just
titles.
terrible.
Either one is equally as forgettable. I will say that this film is not well served by a pretty exchangeable.
Well, you would think a film
interchangeable
called
title.
Wedding Days would be more about a wedding, like being planned.
I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be about drugs. Something
Days,
having
yeah.
to do
I
with
I wish
drugs.
it had been.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, really. There's 2 bits of trivia on IMDb. Matador's car is a Zaz 968, a
Dude.
Russian low-end car
Matador.
produced in the 70s. And also, when Katie asked for Anderson's address when booking a taxi, Anderson says 6 New Lane. This is actually the real address for the apartments where the movie was filmed.
Wow, we.
Exciting shit.
That is literally the only information online
Mamma
about this
mia.
movie.
Dude.
So apparently the internet has as much disdain for this film as I do.
Excellent. Well, how appropriate then that you were the one that looked the shit up.
That's right.
I guess.
Not that I'm biased or anything.
All right. So we got a couple of questions that we sort of tried to hammer out here.
Yeah, we try to go bowls deep, but I don't know how deep these bowls actually are.
How ridiculous is this idea? How harebrained the scheme?
So fucking stupid.
It's
I
pretty.
mean,
it's pretty corny.
it is movies. It is movies, but
It's pushing
I
it
mean,
even for movies, though.
But I mean, think about it. People in India that have arranged marriages.
Okay, but arranged marriages aren't by somebody asking you, waitress, asking you to marry them while you bring them coffee.
So this is a self-arranged marriage.
Yeah.
Like any other.
No, because that's other people arranged. Do that. Other people do that for you. They arrange this on their own.
But usually when there's arranged marriage, it's like, there's like a dowry of goats and like factories and chickens and stuff. I mean, there was no dowry discussed in this film.
Well, perhaps it was just implied. I mean, she was a waitress at a coffee shop. Perhaps a pie,
he knew there's some sweet tips.
creamers,
All the creamers you could drink.
equal packets.
Yeah, toast. Those little
I'm
jellies.
sure coffee would be free.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, bottomless cup.
I mean, by what metric does one measure a dowry in 2016? Come
Yeah,
on.
considering how much I spend on coffee, maybe I should ask the next waitress I see to marry me.
You
So I'd probably save a lot of money.
I bet. You know what? I bet if you make that a practice and just keep doing it, pretty soon
You're
get
gonna
lucky.
hit it. Yeah,
It's gotta happen.
That could be your tip.
eventually.
Somebody's
There you
gonna-
go.
Yeah, be
Save me
like,
15%.
Yeah, be like, hey, if
Be like,
she
hey,
says no, be like, hey, that was your tip. I hope
That
you
was
feel
your
good.
tip. You turned me down. Sorry.
I
I
hope
offered you
get a-
tip.
I offered you tip and an eternal bliss
I hope your
of
confidence
matrimony, and you turned it
received a
down.
temporary boost. All right, so I guess we're all in agreement that this is pretty fucking. Okay.
Yeah.
Pitch session. Other toys with a Hebrew bent.
Oh boy,
Because we saw the Jula hoop, right, and we saw the Junicorn.
I got it. Stretch Armsburg.
Rock'em Sock'em Rabbis.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Right.
What do you have to knock the yarmulke off?
Off the top, right? Because then
Oh,
it's
that's
an
good.
affront to God.
That's good.
Wow. Yeah. Jeez, I'm actually kind of drawing a blank here.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then the requisite silence follows.
that's great.
Of
That
course.
dead air. How about
Yeah.
instead of Lincoln logs, Judah Maccabee logs?
So, are you trying to suggest that like Lincoln is to Gentiles what Maccabee is to Jews?
Sure. Yeah,
Interesting.
that's actually my thesis that got me through college.
Jeez, that's
Yeah.
a whole separate podcast.
It's a whole thing. I've written books on the subject.
Man, I can't believe I can't think of anything that rhymes with.
And this is your question. I thought you were
Masters
gonna-
of the Hebrew universe.
That's
Oh,
good
there
too.
we go. There we go. Okay, G.I. Jew.
Yeah, that's a good one. Jew formers.
Okay.
Oh, did I go too far? Fuck you people.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a couple out there.
Just trying to think of what that would be.
They like transform into like Stars of David and stuff.
And then that's it.
Dreidels. I don't know. Sensible socks.
Dreidels would give them mobility.
That's right.
So that could be useful in the heat of battle.
Totally. Well, you could maybe sharpen the edges so they could be like little fat flechettes or something.
They are the edges.
If you had a gun that could fire like sharpened dreidels, that'd be pretty dangerous.
That sounds more like it's a G.I. Jew weapon
Definitely.
than a Jew former's weapon.
Teenage Mutant Kosher Turtles.
Why not Teenage Mutant?
Ah, there you go. All right. See, now we're thinking.
Now on the fucking.
Now we're getting offensive.
Okay. Jason Biggs, lovable but range free.
Yes.
Just
Do you
like my
mean free
chicken.
range?
Well,
I like my Biggs free range.
Yeah, but well, because I mean, like,
He's always Jason Biggs.
Well, Has he ever? Is anybody aware of a role that he has?
I won't say that he's typecast, but I did keep expecting him to fuck a pie at some point in this movie.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
I didn't. I did not feel that would have been out of line for the character.
Well, and I even
honestly.
I even comment. I swear, if you put this in like a DVD case as like American Pie 8 or something, I don't think people would
Nobody's
even
gonna know.
notice or
I'd be
complain.
like, well, there wasn't a pie in this, but it's okay.
He put Jason Biggs in. Good
Actually,
enough.
that's kind of interesting. Honestly, if all you got to throw in is like a Stifler cameo,
And his
you
dad
could
was
pass
Eugene
this
Levy.
off as some,
Yeah.
instead of Edward Herman, it was Eugene Levy.
Right, that's all you would need. And it could just be another fucking American
That's
Pie
interesting.
sequel. Because Jason Biggs is the same guy in this he was in
Is
those.
anybody here a big fan of American Pie? Because it's sort of one of the, or supposedly, celebrated American comedies of the 2000s or of the late 90s or whatever. And I always thought that was kind of a piece of shit.
That was all right.
I mean, it was when we saw it, I liked it. I mean, I thought it was funny at the time. I mean, the Stifler
all
character
right.
was good, and I swear that's where the whole fucking MILF thing really came from.
Stifler was kind of funny.
So
yeah,
they did.
Sure.
There were some pluses. Shannon Elizabeth's tits were a good thing too.
Oh, those
but-
were a
Those were
great
great.
thing.
yeah,
Jennifer Coolidge and Eugene Levy, of course.
yeah. Eugene Levy's always awesome.
Yeah,
getting
he's
some
funny.
work.
I think it's something that it doesn't hold up to any critical scrutiny, but I think at the time, you know, it was good.
There's
I
a lot
haven't,
of
I haven't
stuff
watched
that-
it in years.
There's a lot of stuff that made its way into like pop culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Stalking and,
influential, I think.
Channels and
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it kind of was.
It did. I think that you still see the waves that it kind of
I
created.
guess I don't necessarily agree that it should have. But Kenzie, were you going to opine?
I like those movies.
that's all you're gonna say.
Yep.
So
Which one's
eat
your
that.
favorite?
I like the first one.
Why?
It's good.
What's good?
It is good
I know, but what? Why?
because I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
She's like, look, it's Shannon Elizabeth tits, all right. Just don't make me say it.
Okay, no. she
Blink
probably-
182 is
That's
on
what
that
I was
soundtrack.
gonna say. She probably likes it because they were in the fucking movie.
I like my reason better.
All right. As a rom-com, breath of fresh air or stale redundancy? I guess we kind of already covered that.
I guess we sort of did kind of.
Yeah.
'cause
A
I mean,
little bit
yeah,
of
I
both,
think a little bit
Yeah.
of both. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like for a rom-com though, a little bit fresh.
And my final ridiculous question here: Cucks, very popular these days. How prescient was this film?
probably entirely.
As they, as the stepdad was kind of.
He got cucked for sure.
Definitely won a golden cucky that year.
yeah,
Yeah.
super cuck.
He was fully cucked.
He was.
He was cucking stuff with his no afro puff.
HR cuck and stuff.
And,
HR cuck.
He was fully cucked and ready to unload.
His last name was Cuckman.
Cucksburg.
Yeah, so really
Dr. Cuxtable.
ahead of its time. I mean, and
Oh, that
you know, with all these videos online, being people talking.
Cuxtables.
Maybe this was the movie that started all that.
Yeah, maybe that started because I swear it wasn't a thing, and now it is. So
Thanks to Wedding Days.
yeah,
There you
hey.
go.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody out there doesn't like the whole cuck thing, I guess you got Michael Ian Black to thank.
It's his fault. Yeah.
And Jason Biggs, throw him in there. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Just fuck everybody.
Yeah,
Shit.
cuck them all.
Yeah.
Gotta cuck 'em all.
I understand that was the original title for Metallica's first album was going to be Cuck 'em all.
Yeah.
And then they were like, like maybe we shouldn't
You
wear
can't
it.
cuck everybody.
That's what I'm
It's like,
saying.
All right, we'll
Mike.
kill
They
everybody.
didn't want to bear. They didn't want to wear their proclivities on their sleeve, perhaps so profoundly and
Cuck them all and let God sort them out.
so obviously. All right. Well, does anybody else have anything about this film then that we should discuss before we?
I thought his new girl was way more attractive than his old girl, and I
Yeah.
don't know why
Oh, big
he was
time.
all hung up on her because she just seemed like an average chick.
Well, how often does that happen to people though? They're like with somebody that they're all kind of obsessed with, and you're kind of like, why?
I don't think she was gonna say yes to the marriage proposal though.
But then they wouldn't have a movie.
Because she was already
Oh, yeah,
talking
she
to what's his
definitely wasn't
face,
going to.
Mark
Yeah.
Consuelos or whatever, and she was gonna
He's
fucking
way hotter than Jason Biggs.
and she was gonna she was gonna fucking,
And he's way better at charades.
yeah,
yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
She's gonna ride his pony.
Oh, wait,
and doesn't give
that
a
was-
fuck.
Wait, I'm
Wait, that was a
talking
different
about the
The waiter that she was.
Oh,
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
off.
Oh, you meant the guy who was secretly gay,
The guy who she was gonna marry.
the guy who knows the apple dumpling game.
Yeah.
no. I'm talking about the guy at the restaurant.
Yeah, you're talking
The
about Mark
special
Consuelos.
forces guy.
He's talking about
The ex.
he's
Ex-fiance.
talking yeah.
Yeah.
He's talking about the charades guy. You're talking about the guy in the restaurant that died too.
Oh, I was talking about Jason Biggs' first girlfriend. I don't think she was gonna say yes.
Yeah.
to
That's
Yeah,
his
she
yes,
proposal.
definitely wasn't.
that's
Yeah.
right.
I'd like to
No,
point out
way.
this. I would normally look up the names of these people to settle this thing, but I just could
No,
not
it
give less of a
doesn't matter.
shit. So
Yeah, who cares?
doesn't matter. gay fiance guy, waitress, first fiance gay,
I think
whatever.
the tan guy's name is Morty.
It's a good name. If it's not his name, I like that better.
Yeah.
call him
Isla
Lord.
Fisher
Yeah.
or whatever her name is pretty popular now, though.
Is she?
Is it?
I like
Yeah,
Was she in stuff?
she's been in a
She
few.
looked
been in
familiar.
stuff.
She's been in stuff. I
been in
swear.
stuff?
Once again, could look it up.
Well,
Could not
she
care
also
less.
kind of looks like Amy Adams.
I was
She
gonna
does
or,
kinda
So I
look
got,
like
I got
Amy
them
Adams.
mixed up.
I
Or-
like Amy Adams way better.
she
I
kind of
don't.
reminds me too a little bit of she has like kind of I don't know like a Nicole Kidman or Naomi Watts kind of thing going
Yeah.
on as well. I find that and not necessarily a complaint, but I find that Hollywood seems to prefer these sort of types where you've got like a lot of actresses are kind of they're sort
Tropes.
of like
There's
this-
there's
sort
a
of
look, and I think that's
couple of
there's always a look, you know, and it changes as tastes change. I guess.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
what Kirk Douglas, or I mean, Douglas? Yeah, was it Kirk
Michael Douglas?
Michael
Yeah.
Douglas, sorry. No, Kirk Douglas.
Kirk's his dad.
Yeah. I mean, I
Big
was
Papa.
I was just watching, I don't forget what it was, but some movie after that. I'd watched a couple movies now. I can't remember any of the names, of course, but I was like, I wonder if these actors, like, they're leading men and they're like kind of less popular. I wonder if they chose them because they kind of resembled like Kirk Douglas's kind of like
Probably.
his
I can see that. I
swagger.
mean, you got like headshots floating around Hollywood, and I can see
Yeah.
if somebody sees them. Oh, it's kind of like a little bit of a Kirk Douglas into this one.
Right.
It might get your foot in the door.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like how Hollywood wants it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I imagine nobody, I guess, really wants to look at people that aren't hot. Nobody wants to pay money to see people that aren't hot, right?
I can see ugly people for free on the streets.
Won't catch
all
me
the
looking
time.
at
All I gotta do is look in the motherfucking mirror.
That's right.
And see all the ugly fucking people I want. I ain't trying to pay for that.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess if there's no other business, we can move on to greener, less romantic, theoretically pastures, and check out tonight's film.
Yeah, we got
whatever it might be.
We're gonna spin the ball, see who wins, and watch another selection.
Yeah, we're not going to spin the bottle.
We already decided against that.
Yeah, it
Weird,
has
it's
come
late.
up a number of times.
We played so much we broke the bottle.
Yeah, actually,
Spun into pieces.
It broke in my ass. We played that much.
Jesus.
Things got that hot. In
Full
the Cinemarijuana
contact.
Theatre. Yeah,
Spin the bottle.
it was a rough night. Really.
Things got dark. In
we
the
didn't read the
Cinemarijuana
rules
Theatre
right.
that night.
Yes, like shout out to Tri-City Medical Center and
Whoa,
the
what?
the EMTs on staff for their swift removal of the object. All right, for the Cinemarijuana Theatre, I'm Ed.
I'm Kenzie.
I'm John.
I'm Raul.
I'm Chris.
We'll be back with more amazing awesomeness next time. Filmstation.com. Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out.